Practice Podcast, where we cover the only sport in the world where there is no practice. With your mini rod driving host, Adam Kester, Tyler Slaw, and Chase Richardson. Strap in for some debates on the world of pulling, exclusive special guests, and a whole lot of nonsense BS. The No Practice Podcast starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, pulling fans, welcome to episode 64 of the No Practice Podcast, joined as always by Mr. Chase Richardson and Adam Kester. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Never better. I've actually, on a very selfish note, I've been very sick the last 4 or 5 days, and today I finally feel like I would consider drinking a beer again. So I'm good. It's crazy how whenever you're sick as shit, whenever you just feel better, how much better everything in the world is. But yeah, good to see you guys. Good to be back, and happy to catch up on the happiest thing we do every 2 weeks.
That's right.
Right on. Yep. Just I think this is the closest we've ever been to barely getting the show going. I think I signed on 2 minutes before 7, and Chase was about 30 seconds after me, and I think Tyler was in the last 5 minutes also.
Yeah, well, typically, I really like to have a bit of a pre-show ritual where I take notes, some show notes, and I get all prepared, and I'm kind of cozied up in my little makeshift studio. But if you notice, I'm not where I'm normally at, and the reason is just as I was getting ready to get things all set up, the power went out at my house. And, of course, with no power, I've got no internet or anything. And so I scrambled and I loaded my laptop and my microphone and my keyboard and mouse and all this stuff up. And I headed over to my neighbor's, which is conveniently my father, Mr. Farmer Bruce. So I am in his shop right now, hence this turbo motor sitting here over my shoulder. And I even went through the work to bring my Happy Gilmore check from this past week.
I was gonna say, is that a full-time display there, or just for the show?
Yeah.
You put those in the shop where you can look at them all times?
Well, I actually brought this one home, and I had it prominently displayed in my living room. So Courtney will probably be pleased to see that out of the house. But
are you going to tape it on your semi-door going to the next pull?
I'm probably just going to tape it on the inside of my windshield on my daily driver, kind of like the Fig Newton sticker from Talladega Nights. And it's you can't see anything, but it sure is beautiful. So
what's over your right shoulder there? What type of engine are we looking at there?
That's out of Bruce's.
Is that one of those? Yeah. That's
out of Bruce's turbo drag car. So that's a CN block. It's got MBE heads on it. He bought it. He didn't know how many passes were on the rods or anything. So it's fairly similar to our Brad stuff. But Bruce was just going through it. He put new rods in it, new rod bearings, new head gaskets. He sent the cam out to get a cam card on it to figure out what the hell was in it for a camshaft, all that good stuff. So some of the motor builders for that kind of stuff are super secretive. So if he tries to figure out any information, the guy wouldn't tell him. Didn't want to say what bore or stroke was in it. Didn't want to say what cam was in it. Didn't want to say what was in it for pistons or anything. He just said, if you need work on it, just send it back to me, and I'll take care of it. And Bruce is like, that is not how I operate. So he ripped it all apart, gave a piston to John Card. I think Kevin Campbell got the camshaft, and Kevin Campbell figured out, what cam's in it. And Bruce is kind of more of the work on things yourself kind of guy. So
I wonder if that guy's tuned into this podcast, learning the secrets.
Yeah, he'd probably be upset, but that's the way it goes, right?
It's all about transparency, baby.
Yeah, I didn't realize you could really get a 4.5-inch bore and a 4.8 bore space motor. Is that common, Adam, or no?
Yeah, I mean it's tight. Ours are 4.840, so that it's 40 thousandths bigger, and we can stick a 4.560 bore in it. So things get a little thin, but they seal up all right.
Yeah. It's a good looking motor. I think Bruce originally got that sand dragster thinking that he would maybe learn some things from a turbo standpoint to apply potentially to a pulling tractor. But right now it's all electronic fuel injected and everything, and you can ramp boost into it and timing and, lean it out going down the drag strip. And I don't really know how much you can learn in a setting like that. So at this point, I think he's getting pretty tempted to just pull all the electronic nonsense out of it, pull the turbos off, and drop one of our spare motors in it, and then just go drag racing like that. But
When's the debut for that thing?
he was out in Arizona with it a couple months ago, but he didn't drive it. He had one of our neighbors drive it that has kind of a sand drag type deal. But I would imagine this season Bruce will get behind the wheel and run that thing.
Fully expect the coverage to come back to this podcast.
Oh yeah,
evaluations. I hope nobody's doing any closet racing without us knowing about it.
No. I would let you know if Bruce made a pass. We'd feature the video here. So hopefully he doesn't love it so much to where he thinks it's more fun than tractor pulling.
Well, I guess there's stupider things in the world. Talking about the podcast, I want to make this note too. I have to be done at like 2 hours sharp. This when we get going in the season, and it was my turn this week, but like I got to drive to Minnesota tomorrow, and I don't need to be hungover thinking about what I did with you all until midnight tonight. So I'm going to try to do a hard stop at 10. And also want to make note, too, a few pullers told me this. I think maybe in Evansville. No, but, like, it's kind of cool. Who the hell told me they were talking about how much they love this podcast, and they said they never watch it live, but they love it because whenever they go on these long trips like we all got to do, they just start listening to them nonstop. And it makes the trip go by. So for those tuning in on demand, on the way your tractor pull, hopefully we can make your time go by a little faster. So tomorrow I have a 13-hour drive. That's like 3 podcasts, right? Just listen to 3 or 4. No, it's 4 podcasts.
Probably 4. I will say it's impressive at every single event. And I know we keep saying this, so it's probably getting old for people to hear. But I feel like it's more and more people at every single event that come up to me and talk about the show. And it was pretty cool, even pulling off the track there this past weekend. I saw several people out in the crowd chase wearing the exact shirt that you have on with our stupid 3 faces on it there. And I yelled to one guy that could hear me. I'm like, I like your shirt, while standing up on my tractor pointing at him. He's like, yeah. So it's pretty cool for sure.
I drove off the track and the guy after the last one there and said, would you come over and sign my hat and shirt? Yep. He's like, keep doing it. I said, well, we'll try.
Very good. So jumping right into it, we've had a couple weeks of pulling going on. It's officially pulling season now, right? Like there's this weekend, I think there's events going on all over the place. No mini rod pulling, but like I said, I'll be in Minnesota running our light mod. But 2 weeks ago, Busch Light Nationals in Evansville was a awesome event that kind of kicked off the summer. Great crowd, great turnout, great shows. Didn't run too bad. Adam's hometown pull. I got to shout this out too. Like I've never been to a pull and someone have a cheering section. So it was kind of a new standard. Like we think we have people to cheer for us. No, at Evansville, like this dude got like a stand. His first mini rod the first night, the place erupted. And I don't think the live stream did justice for it. So that was pretty cool. I don't care who you are, even if you don't like Adam.
Yeah. So Saturday night I made a run and they're all hooping and hollering. I'm like, that was a shitty run, man. I don't know what you're cheering about. But that was pretty neat, man. It really was. I didn't realize till the end there that I had tied with Troy on positions for the cup. He just got me on distance.
Well, I'd say that's a pretty solid weekend for sure.
Sure.
For sure.
Yes.
And then we have some guests later in the show. The man I wish there was practice, but like I feel like the one track where it was, spark plug track as we'll call it, there was probably 5 to 6 man I wish there were practice moments throughout the weekend. I had one of them. Well, yeah, you still didn't make it look that bad, but we have a couple come on here late, but holy shit, have you ever seen so much wreckage in one place on one track?
No, the burst panels and fires and rollovers and bad bad runs, people running out of bounds. I mean, there was everything there.
What was your so Adam? Obviously, we've talked a little bit, but your overall eval of the inaugural event from your standpoint, assuming it was not in your hometown, but all other things being said, you're pretty happy with what you saw?
Oh, I think everything went really well. Obviously Mother Nature probably changed a few things that was trying to be done, but overall, I think the crowd turned out every day, even in the afternoon sessions, to be pretty good. The facility's phenomenal, right? So tons of space. I don't think we even tapped into half the space really. I would say as far as like the weather goes, you really couldn't ask for better weather for an event. It was hot. It was a little hot there in the afternoon, but like they have a covered grandstand, and I think that's where most of the people were sitting under. But yeah, I mean the action across the board. I thought, you're sitting back there and you're like, man, this is the first pull of the year. You would expect to see this kind of stuff maybe later in the year at a points are getting tight and things are really coming down to the neck here. But yeah, I mean, if you aren't entertained by that show, I don't know what's going to please you, And
the other part that I didn't really realize till like after the fact, when you're looking at like venue layouts, and we've all seen different venues and, racetracks, hillsides, whatever, but you really, when you're there, minus the end zone beer garden area, it really has a lot of similarities to like what Toma looks like in terms of the grandstand layout. There is a covered grandstand one side, and aluminum bleachers on the other, but it was that there's a hillside at the start line that they don't have at Toma, but it has some similarities to that type of place in terms of what you're looking at in the venue. So it was super awesome. Again, we'll touch on more later in the show, but hoping we can work something out to potentially maybe go back there again. But that'll all play itself out, and we'll see what happens with some of that stuff. But definitely enough there to make it happen. And the other part that was kind of cool, Anheuser-Busch is corporate. AB Sports, I think, is the division that covers all that, is in St. Louis. And they had a person there for the weekend. And we actually, the Toma tractor pull, which has been the Budweiser Nationals forever, it's been around for 50 years, but it's been, I think, more of at the distributor level. Well, long story short, fingers crossed, but I think the corporate level is going to support that. And I think if we could ever organize a sport where, the pouring rights in each venue or Anheuser-Busch, I think they would do a lot more. So from the sponsorship side of it, I thought that was pretty awesome as well. Every event has its own deal and its own history and so forth. So I'm not sitting here saying everyone should drink Busch Light or Anheuser-Busch, but we at least got their attention, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think after the poll was over with on Saturday night and everybody was kind of winding down and everything was going on, the beer garden down there at the end, they have big coolers, and somebody made the mistake of telling, hey, we got some beer here, just come and get it. And of course, like raccoons to trash, they come out of the woodwork out there, and I moseyed up there to kind of see what was going on. I grabbed a beer or two, but they had neutrals and Cutwaters and Busch Light apples and Budweiser and Bud Light. Every beer got taken except for the Bud Lights. They did not touch them damn things.
That's what they told me. It's like, the other night, this is after hours, like, we're tailgating. This is not selling in case someone ever wants to ping us on or slap our wrist. But they couldn't give Bud Light away. You can't give it away for free, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
I think we ended up with it or something.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. You go up there, and that was the only thing in there. I was like, well, that ain't all that bad. Nobody drinks that shit anyways.
Yeah.
Everybody should know that Papa Kid Rock said it's okay to drink Bud Light now. I think we've covered that.
Yeah, but I don't think the people around home like that taste.
Oh, Okay.
Everybody around here says it gives them a headache.
I mean, I think it's just fine. If it's a free cold beer, there's no way I'm turning that down.
So Tyler, if you'd have been there, that Bud Light would have been gone. It wouldn't have been
at the end of the night, if that's the only thing left, yeah, I'm not too good for an ice cold Bud Light. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, pretty interesting to note all that though. So again, we'll touch more on that in the show. Have a few things we want to talk about, and then you guys were out running last weekend. The opening kickoff to the series there behind you there, the high stakes series. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Which, Chase, I know you're always wondering, how can I get into that? And they have released how you do get into that. And I forget how many it is, but if you run the Champions Tour, it's so many, it's maybe the top 4 or 5 from that are guaranteed a spot. And then I think there's also open available spots from the member states as well. So
that's not how they did it.
The way I read it is that in the mini rod class in particular, they're taking the top 11 out of the high stakes points. And then they have a provision for a Silver Series champion, which the last time I checked mini rods, I do not believe have a Silver Series. So if there's 17, that means there are 6 spots available. And those spots will go to the highest placing, already committed to the high stakes in the Champions Tour points. So, there's 6 events to get in the top 6.
How did you all get into the initial one though? Was that ever revealed?
Yeah, we went to Champions Tour events.
That is correct.
So how come my 2-wheel drive didn't get in then?
Because there's like 20-something 2-wheel drives, I guess.
Yeah.
There was multiple 2-wheel drives that never pulled a Champions Tour event last year. I won a Champions Tour event with my 2-wheel drive.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I see.
All right.
Well, I don't know.
That's a fair point. I thought I had a good answer for you, but I'm gonna have to come back in 2 weeks and see if I get a better answer.
All you have to do is respond to the email and just tell me the reason. But I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath on that.
Right.
Okay. And look, I need to make something very clear. I think on one of these shows, it was the comment of the friends and family circuit. I really need to retract that because apparently it pissed somebody off. But whenever I said friends and family only, I've been to a couple weddings that were friends and family by invite, and I took it as an honor. I think it's an honorary thing to say it's a friends and family circuit. But I don't say it again because I thought I got a nasty message and then it was taken the wrong way. So I'm sorry, I won't say it again.
Okay, I understand. Well, Chase, if you want to get your mini rod in, you now know how.
There is a path.
There is a path.
There's a path.
A clearly outlined path. Hey, Chase, good choice in Gatorade there, buddy. I got one of those sitting here too.
I told you I've been under the weather, so
yeah. All right.
No, but in all fairness, I mean, I believe it was a successful event. It was definitely. I've never been to Dragway 42, or Durana Dragway 42, massive facility.
Huge.
Everything was paved, nice pits. The track was a little bit of a distance away from the pits, but it was a paved path to get there. And I think, like most things, you're going to have some issues maybe with figuring stuff out for the first time. Friday had its own challenges with scaling and stuff like that. They made the proper changes for Saturday. I think it was much better ran Saturday. Obviously, people are going to mention about the moisture content of the track. I said this before on my Facebook post from some of the pictures, the crazy dirt pictures in the walls of dirt where it looks like terrible track. It was actually far from being terrible. It was dry though. And, I was expecting maybe some torn up tires and stuff like that. Didn't have to really touch them. I don't know. Tyler won, so I'm going to say he's not going to say the track was terrible.
Yeah,
I got to get an interruption on this one. I got to get this off my chest because I was waiting for this podcast to do it. All right, so this is all about me right now, right? So
Yeah.
I went through the
Always is.
Sorry, I'll try to change my tone. But I went through the weekend coming off Evansville. Everything seemed pretty good. I'd mentioned I was under the weather, but on Monday morning, my phone started blowing up. I'm like, what in the hell happened in the pulling world? And it's ding, 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 ding. Well, go to see that. And like, I think the passionate people on the internet saying that this should be better, that should be better. I think that's good because people care. People want shit to be great. Like, I don't take offense to it, but I was super pissed when I saw Adam's comment that he made to Marty Wilson. Super pissed. You know why, Tyler? You know why? Like, this is a slap in the face to this podcast. All you had to say was there's no bad tracks. There's just bad setups.
Oh.
That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. There are no bad tracks. They're just bad setups. Adam, why did you not just say that?
Oh, I don't know.
We lost him.
You know, I'm still here. Still here, right? I just got recognition.
Yeah,
my
there's
phone
just
was
a bit of a
die.
delay, but the floor is yours, though, Adam.
Sorry, I got too loud and it messed us up.
Well, I mean, you know, I could see a point in saying something if you were there. You know, I mean, I ran into numerous people that night. I don't think anybody was bitching about the track. I mean, people understood what had happened. It wasn't for lack of effort. You know, you got 20 to 25 mile an hour winds all day, and they hadn't had rain in 2 weeks. We kind of expected it to be dry, and they did a pretty damn good job of putting water to it. But when the thing's sitting there for 2 hours before the pull starts, like every track has to be, the sun's going to bake it, and it's going to dry out. So they know they made a mistake. They didn't have any water sprinklers on the drags or anything. So, shame on them, you know. At the end of the night, I think one class, I mean, if we really want to get down to it, the winner of the 2-wheel drive class went 312 feet. Yes, there was a bunch of people that were in the 270s, 280s, 290s, but we watched the unlimited class at Evansville, and I think the winner was 307. So if you're going to be equally mad about something, then, you know, be across the board. And if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Because I think every organization is trying their best to put on the best show. Plain and simple. So
you know what I love about track building comments, though? Like, seriously, I was thinking about this driving here because I knew we'd come up with this topic would come up. Track building is one of those awesome, or not awesome, it's one of those hilarious things that everyone is an expert on. Everyone's an expert on it, but very few people have actually built one. So, you know, look, I think the only time you'd ever hear me bitch about a track is if someone just didn't work it. Like, I think I think there's one of those things, like, there's different philosophies in how to build tracks, and people probably have better strategies than others. But genuinely, it looks like people try to work pretty hard to do this. So if it don't work out, like, what the hell, right? Like, we should do a whole podcast on how to build a track because everyone's an expert, but I've never really built
as
one.
if we know, right?
Yeah,
as if we know. Like, I will say they knew the track could have been better. At the drivers' meeting, the start of the drivers' meeting.
Who said the track was bad? That's what I'm saying. Like, I was joking. I mean, not like who is the determiner of what a good and bad track is? It goes back to what Adam always says. Like, it's not good if you get your ass beat.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you don't do good, you're going to say that's the best. Go ahead. My bad. Delayed.
Oh, my bad. We've got a bit of a delay there. So I will say it seemed like people on Facebook were. It seemed. Am I good, Chase? You can hear me?
Yeah, you're good. I think the glitch is on him.
Okay. It did seem like people on Facebook were quicker to, talk about how, it's pathetic, or I don't know the exact wording, that, things need to be better. This is sad, stuff like that. I do feel like the pictures portrayed it as worse than what it actually was. And I'm not just saying that because I won. It did actually hook up and load motors where sometimes you just got to scream your motors coming off the line when a track is particularly dry and won't hook up at all. It made for good photos for sure. But I will say at the start of the drivers' meeting, They straight up said, you guys did an A+ job. We had 120 hooks that we got in 4 hours or something like that. And so from that standpoint, it was good. And they said, we need to do a better job. That track could have been better, and we're going to do a better job tonight. And they said that is on us for not having a better track there for you. So the head officials did say that. It did seem like it got more online hate than normal, I suppose. But I will say, and I don't say this very often, that I did win the pull, and I lowered my hitch for like the first time in forever to win that pull.
Really?
So think about that. People are saying this track is no good and all that. I was third to last, which typically if it's a dry track that sucks, you really don't have a chance if you're in, the last half or last third of the class. I was third to last in the class. I ran with a low hitch and I won. So it couldn't have really been that terrible.
Yeah. Like, it's all in the eyes of the beholder when it comes to this. I mean, I've just said that, but I'll repeat saying that. Like, yeah, sure. Internally, there's tracks that I don't like to pull on, but everyone has to pull on them, right? I mean, and there's some guys like 2-wheel drive pulling. I know for sure that the worse the track, the more they like it because they thrive because they're that savvy and good at it. So I don't know. I think it's hilarious when people are experts on tracks. That's all. That's my opinion. But I also respect that people care and, want it to be the best it can be. But who's the determiner of that? The show, I didn't watch a lot. I watched a little bit of the show, but the show seemed like it went like a fast show and it got done. And, there's just probably a lot of dirt to clean off the vehicles. But outside of that, who cares, right?
There was that, but honestly, more of the dirt came in the 2 minutes right before the show started. Adam and I were discussing what's all involved when an event gets rained out. And after towing our stuff back for the first time ever, when we unloaded, we actually hosed our tractors off very carefully. Like, I felt like the European teams because, we always see Bart and Barry at Bowling Green, hosing their stuff off, getting all the dirt off, getting it nice and clean looking. And so Bruce and I are out there we even had the front end jacked up and we're hosing the front tires off, getting any dirt off of the wheels and everything. I'm like, this is a strange feeling, but we had that time allotted to work on things and the tractors were ready to go Saturday and they hadn't been ran yet. So we figured we'd make good use of that time. But
I think the Happy Gilmore mentality is getting to you, man.
You think so?
Yeah, you get these big checks. Now you're doing shit you never done before.
Yeah, the Happy Gilmore reference, I should have put it on my story on Snapchat, but I was driving from my dad's back to my house in my old crappy car, similar to a Happy Gilmore-esque vehicle, if you will. And I had this check sitting in the back seat, just driving down the road, and I'm like, I'm feeling like Happy Gilmore right now. It was a good time.
I got people on Monday morning, whenever that thread was going, and people send you commentary that's not on the thread. It was sometimes some of that stuff just makes me laugh. I'm not gonna like. I don't get on there and comment normally because I'm just working and doing shit during the day. But sometimes all you can do is laugh at some of the stuff, not in a mean way, but people get fucking pissed.
Yeah, and for anybody wondering, I think it was the thread we are referring to is the Marty Wilson Facebook post, I believe.
Yeah, but there'll be a bad track there'll be a dry track again in all of our futures if we keep pulling. Hopefully there's a lot more not dry than dry, but just part of playing the game. I do have did someone say that they put 50,000 gallons of water and it still looked like that?
Yes.
Is that right? That's a lot of water.
They
I would
worked on
believe
the
it.
track all week.
I know, but how many inches of rain is that do? You think? I don't know. Because Jim, I've not been around track building, but 50,000 gallons of water, I've never heard of a number that high. Or maybe that's more common than I realized, but I'm like, holy shit, that's a lot of water.
That track took a lot of water.
I know, but someone should do the math on how many inches of rain that is. That's why I'm saying the equivalent. Like, I don't know. That's pretty wild.
I'm doing it right now. Hold tight.
Yeah.
people realize that I'm on this podcast. My phone's been ringing for the past 10 minutes. Jeez.
Who
is it, Adam?
It's all about me, though. Why are they calling you?
I don't know.
Okay.
Probably.
So Chase, just to answer your question, on a 400 by 100 foot area, 50,000 gallons is 2 inches of rain.
2 inches of rain.
So I think 50,000 gallons is incredibly believable, to be perfectly honest.
Well, it's the same thing too. I don't know, like do you pour that water in when it's completely broken up, wide open? Like it's the strategy of the track builder. I'm not questioning they put it on there at all. I was just questioning how much water is that. So that tells you how much I guess it was taken. 1 inch of rain, 1 acre, 27,000 gallons. So that's about what the guy said. Yep. Interesting stuff. I'm not good at math, so that's why I asked you all.
Is my glitch fixed?
I think so. You seem pretty good now.
Yeah. You don't have an RBF. Actually, you do. Yeah, he did have an RBF.
You guys, you can't call Adam while he's on the podcast. That's no good.
I mean, they must not pay attention to what's going on in the world tonight.
Guess not. So
it is funny,
well,
the late days. It gets dark at 9:45 now. People's the work doesn't stop until it gets dark. So it's kind of funny. I guess it's a trend in anything in the world. More daylight, more work, right?
That's right.
Yes.
So, are we done with track drama, or does anybody else have any?
No, I think one of these days we have a list of things we should do. I think we should get some track builders on here and do a build the perfect track seminar. And I was actually there's a chance we might do a smaller poll in the fall, in October. Not 100%, but I was actually thinking up for that. I want to build the track to see if I can screw it up.
I think you should have one of the Facebook experts to build the track for the event.
I think we can do a segment on how we're going to determine, just like we did with Cletus, what do you tell somebody when they drive? All right, fans, how do we build the perfect track here? Then, because I won't be participating in that event, I don't think. So maybe I'll just build the track and then we'll see how it goes.
I think it would be good to keep track of who talks the most crap about tracks and get that group of 5 people together and fly them in and be like, all right, here's the equipment, here's the water, here's the dirt. You guys make the track.
Yeah, again, I want to be clear. If someone was sitting their ass and not working and the track sucked, I would probably have an opinion. But people work their ass off in the heat to get these tracks right. If it doesn't work out, I mean, everyone they all care, right? It ain't like they don't give a shit. Just my view.
Well, I too like Tyler. I have hit all 3 of my
What'd you just say to me? Say it again. Yeah. Say it to my face.
All right.
Yeah. We can't hear anything you're saying. I'm just talking shit.
Adam's going to drive to Chase's house and knock his teeth in.
All right. Well, I think we got you now. No.
Oh, nice job, Chase.
Anyway, good segment though. I think there's the track is, when you talk about pulling as a motorsport, I don't think the art of track building is talked about enough because it's that. I mean, it takes a freaking brainiac, and think about how we look at certain track builders. It's sophisticated. No other motorsport has to do that, right?
Adam, we got you loud and clear. What were you saying?
I said I too like Tyler. I dropped my hitch on all 3 of my tractors, and maybe it hurt me, but they all picked the front end up.
There you go. And I don't reveal a hitch drop very often because I often don't have that information to reveal. I've gone entire seasons without running a low hitch, but after watching multiple people go out there and do what they did, I humbly made that decision. So
you're growing up at your age, Tyler.
Yeah, perhaps. So
I was scared. I didn't want to wreck.
Yeah. I think this may be a good transition as Adam gets back to us to maybe go into our fan questions. What do you think about that? Fan hotline questions. Is there anything else we need to touch on right now? We got that track.
I'm good with it. I just had to turn my phone onto airplane mode so people quit calling me.
That's a good move. Yep. All right.
Thank you.
Fan questions it is.
Uh,
All right. How were the overall points determined for the mug winners? Not picking, just don't recall if it was ever explained. Busch Light Nationals show was an awesome live stream. Chase, care to explain?
yeah, it's probably a good point. I don't guess the determination of it was ever thoroughly explained to fans. But same as like a Bowling Green, Ohio, or I believe Hillsboro does it with the belt buckle. The best weekend average finish, you know, for the class, and if it's a tie, it comes down to total distance. As Adam noted, he was in a tie in the mini rod with Troy Art, and Troy had more combined distance. In the unlimited class, they actually had a four-way tie, and Miles Krieger had told me, he's like, dude, all the years at Bowling Green and doing all those, and sure the unlimited class only had 11 vehicles, but he said all the years at Bowling Green, I've never seen a tie with more than two. There was four of them tied, and Joe Eater had the tiebreaker. So that's how it was. We'll be sure to maybe document that a little better in the future. Good question. Is Hillsboro the same way, Tyler?
Yeah, Hillsboro's the same way, where it's basically best overall finish. So if you got a first and a third, you know, and somebody else has got 2 seconds, that's 4 on 4. And I forget if the tiebreaker goes to distance or best overall finish, and maybe they use distance if it's a first and a third versus a first and a third or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
cool. Yeah, Bowling Green does distance too, I believe. So that was kind of the model that's started for us. So
makes sense. Chase, there's nobody that you're going to have to call and tell them to send the mug back, is there?
We might have to do a renege ceremony.
Yeah. If Josh Blackburn won,
Josh Blackburn was not there. Josh didn't make it this year, thankfully.
Yeah, is that you? Yeah, you're gonna have to package that up and send it back. That was a real highlight callback to a previous show.
Go back to Josh Blackburn.
That's right. All right, next question here. What do we got? If the three of you each got to cast 3 votes for the first class of a new unified pulling Hall of Fame, who would they be and why? Hashtag 5-Engine Bruce 2027. Well, I don't know about that hashtag. That seems harmful, not helpful. So if the three of you each got to cast 3 votes for the first class of a new unified pulling Hall of Fame, who would they be? Is that just like
I think that just like it's open range, so anybody pulling anywhere. That's the way I'm taking it, right?
Yeah. That makes sense.
That's a good question. So I'm only going to stick in my lifetime. That's not fair to other Hall of Famers, but it's hard for me to have an opinion on people I wasn't around to see. I think for one, I would. Oh gosh, I got to think about that. I'd have to say Randy Petro won. I would say Larry Kester would be in there with my first 3. I'm not going to have any diesel guys because I'm not really a diesel guy. Probably Don. Actually, I said Don Masterson. That's one right there. Don Masterson.
Yeah. That's hard to argue with that.
Go ahead, Tyler.
I guess also drawing from my lifetime, just because I'm more familiar with those people, I would have to go with like an Adam Bauer, which I feel like is just kind of a given. I feel like Jesse Petro, his dominance in the 2-wheel drive class is pretty undeniable over that large of a period of time. And then I don't know if I'd go like I don't even know. Maybe he's in the current Hall of Fame, but LD Leichner, I feel like he stands out to me. Or LD Nation. Sorry. I got too many names floating around in my head. LD Nation.
That's a good one.
I was thinking about how his tractor, and I was trying to decide if that was his tractor.
Well, you got to get off the Gatorade and back to drinking the bourbon.
Yeah, seriously, my bad. Yeah, LD Nation. I feel like he ran hard. He was always kind of up front, and he was trying different engine combinations, and then he had the 4-piston engines there for a while. I just remember him from when my dad was running the unlimited hard. And
he's a badass 2-wheel drive puller for a lot of years.
Yes, yes, he was.
Him and sons, yeah. Gosh, there's so many. 3's not enough, is there?
No, there's a lot of badasses out there, and I'm probably going to kick myself because I'm going to think of a couple of better ones later tonight when I'm laying in bed. But Adam, what do you think?
I'm going to go a little bit more on the older school side of things. I mean, obviously, you have to look at like the history of the modified class, and if you know anything about it, you'd probably have to say like the Banner brothers would be on there. Probably Tim Engler for all his, innovations with the pulling vehicles and all that stuff. And I'm trying to think of a good good guy to put on there for old school, but maybe more new. I'd probably say Terry Blackburn.
Yeah, it's another one. Shit.
Yeah, can't argue with
King
that.
of Smoke. The King of Smoke's another one.
Yeah.
There's really so many. It would be incredibly tough to actually select who goes into the Hall of Fame every year.
Yeah, it's a trap question, but it's a good question.
Yeah.
So,
all right, next
question.
question.
But then we said we wanted more than the top 3, so we didn't really answer the question.
That's true. I think this podcast needs to be weekly, but have 3 guys from another class take up the off weeks. Maybe super stock diesel 4-wheel drive or pro stock guys. Gives the audience some diversity and helps us get through the off weeks faster. Weeks without the No Practice podcast suck. Well, we can't thank you enough for the kind words. I'm sure Chase wouldn't be against it if he could find 3 other losers to sacrifice 1/14 of their free evenings all year long to talk about pulling for a couple
I was trying
hours.
to find a fill-in tonight, but Tyler crucifies me.
Oh yeah, I'm harsh on Chase. He called me. He's like, man, I got to drive 14 hours. I don't know. And I'm like, no, you will be on. You will be partaking in it. I'm supposed to be camping out at the beach with my grandmother and my mom and my stepdad, and I'm paying for a site at this campground tonight. But I didn't realize when we made the reservations that a podcast was going to be on tonight. And I told them, I'm like, sorry, I will be there. I will be there Thursday. I have obligations.
You need to come spend time with your other family.
But let's say they do a show. Okay, we got to pick 3 diesel drivers that are going to be on the off weeks. I'm going to go Shane Kellogg is my pick. Chase, who's your pick?
It has to be that class or any diesel class.
Any diesel class. It's got to be a diesel puller.
Russell Hildebrand.
Okay, so we got Russell Hildebrand, Shade Kellogg. Adam, who's your pick?
That's a good question. Boy, that's a tough one. Has to be diesel?
Yeah, it's got to be diesel. That's the fan question.
Okay.
We have the Hall of Famers that have declined the podcast. There's like 3 of them. But the first one ever was Mark Mangan. I think he'd be great for the every other week portion because he's a diesel guy.
Yeah, he in order to be classified as a diesel guy, he actually has to drive one first.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
I don't know. Shit. Diesel guy. Kenny Hale.
There you go. I think we should do, Chase, you should try to make that happen at some point this summer in our off week on a Wednesday. You get those 3 individuals together to do one show of the No Practice podcast diesel edition. And people will probably love that so much they won't even want to listen to us anymore.
We'll be old news.
We'll be replaced.
They'll probably be a lot more positive than some of us.
Well, yeah, we won't have to have a positivity check because you won't be there, Adam. I almost commented on that Facebook post. I almost commented on that Facebook post where Adam made his comment, and I got like almost 60 likes, and just said, Adam, positivity check.
Need to be more professional.
I'll I wanted to comment. It's not bad tracks, just bad setups, but I didn't. Yeah, if you're a diesel puller and want to be on this podcast, come find one of us and throw your name in the hat. Maybe we can make this happen for the fans, for the fan wishes.
Yeah.
Another good question, though.
All right. What else we got? My son drove my NA small tire Mini a few weeks ago, and I think he was channeling his inner Tyler. What do you guys think? Yeah, he's got pretty good flow there, no question. This guy looks like a real man because he can actually grow somewhat of a mustache. He doesn't look quite as Amish as me, so I will give him that. I like it. I dig the look. Funny topic on people that look like me is a couple weeks ago I was scrolling Facebook and there was a picture of a guy on like a single engine econo mod, and I stopped on my Facebook because I thought it was me. It looked just like me. And I was like, what the hell?
You thought it was you? Were you having like a out of body experience or?
Yeah, it was strange. I'm like, is that a picture of me on this tractor? I don't remember standing on a tractor. And so it turns out it wasn't me, clearly. But I commented on the photo and I said, holy crap, I thought that was me for a second. And the guy responded back and he's like, yeah, I've gotten that several times at tractor pulls, believe me. And I just didn't think much more of it than that. Well, at the pull this past weekend, he tapped me on the shoulder when I was ordering food, and he's like, hey, I'm the one that you thought was you in a picture. And I'm like, oh, holy shit. I'm like, good to see you, man. How's it going?
So that was the guy that was standing when we were getting the cheesesteaks.
Yes.
Did you get a picture with the guy?
I did.
You know what's really funny, Tyler, that you say that, because he may say you looked like him. I thought he looked like Evan.
Yes, I can see that too. But people think Evan and I are often brothers as well. So
I gotta say this: have y'all ever seen the Weber Valley Speedway social handle?
Yeah, we've covered it on.
Yeah, dude, they posted one. I gotta find it. They posted some Amish guy that looked just like you, bro. I gotta find it somewhere. It was, of course, they're all AI made, but I'll see if I can dig that one out.
Tyler, did you get one of those cheesesteaks?
Oh yeah, I did. They were delicious.
They were awesome. Yes.
Was this at your all's event last week?
Yeah.
Did they have moisture in it?
Oh yeah. There was enough butter. Yeah. There was enough butter to fill the cracks of the heart, buddy.
Oh yeah, it was delicious.
It was very good.
Let me get back to the guy's question. I didn't really even. We got sidetracked. So he was just saying.
Well, it was just a picture of some guy that they were saying was channeling their inner Tyler Slaw. So
nice. Hopefully,
if they were channeling their inner Tyler Slaw, hopefully they either got first place or potentially wrecked and rolled over, because I feel like that's about where I'm at. I was full. There you go. There's this picture.
I can see it.
I mean,
yeah.
Once again, this guy's clearly a better man than me, because I mean that's a pretty prominent mustache he's working with right there.
Yeah.
Where's he from?
I don't even know. I think he's actually dating or married to one of Lou Shanklin's daughters. If you remember him, the black sheep,
lost sheep,
semi truck.
Yeah,
or lost sheep. Yes.
Yeah, mini rod.
Yep.
Did Bruce have a wild night somewhere in Ohio once?
Yeah, you never know. I'm gonna have to get with Farmer Bruce and figure out if he was throwing seed around more than just planting ground.
Got mini rod and join the team.
Yeah, seriously. What the heck?
Pretty good. Good stuff.
All right, next question. What else we got here? Hey, Chase, any chance of getting one of those Busch Light coolers? If so, who do I contact for it?
I have zero idea. I can maybe ask and send me a direct message. I'll see, but I didn't. I was kind of out of all that. They were a pretty hot item, though, obviously.
Yeah, you got to explain what they're talking about, Chase.
So the winner's circle in Evansville, top 5, everyone got different variances of coolers. First place got a big, nice igloo-style Busch Light cooler. Probably have a photo of it somewhere we could pull out if we have time. But the winners got big ice-down coolers of Busch Light. A little different than a trophy, but cool, nice little gesture and reward for the. See, Adam got second or third. I don't remember what he got, but that's second. Yeah, that's a nice little. That looks like something Tyler will take to the campgrounds, Bowling Green type of cooler. So,
and there was Busch Light in there.
looks like it perfectly fits a nice box of Busch lights in that bad girl. I would certainly holster that upon my shoulders and head for the campground in Bowling Green and not come back until it was empty.
Yeah. Whoever that was, the question, send me a Facebook message and I'll see what I can find out. I know those came from St. Louis is all I know. But I'll see what I can do if I can help you out.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. What else we got here? Congratulations, Tyler, on your win at the High Stakes Series. Liked your comment at the trophy presentation. Sometimes you can make things better than bought. Yes. Thank you very much for the congratulations. I had a couple people comment on my winner's circle interview, and I feel like I should say that is not, because basically it just kind of turns into this banter between my father and I of me just teasing him for getting a store-bought chassis because we've ran our own for quite some time. I have nothing against the fine folks at Modern Machine or Modern Motorsports. They clearly build a phenomenal, badass piece that is undeniably competitive. I just like teasing Bruce. If you don't know me that well, that's basically him and I's relationship as we tease each other back and forth. And so in my interview, I basically basically said that Bruce wanted me to drive that new chassis. And I told Bruce I would rather get fifth with something I built than get first with something he bought. And that flustered Bruce somewhat. And he's like, well, I think that's
a real story.
What's that?
That was a real story.
Yeah, that was a real story. And I told him that because when he ordered that chassis, that new one, he was under the impression I was going to drive it because he feels I have more experience after running two of them last year. He thinks I'm the better driver. He thinks, that CFH blower is the better supercharger. His has got the better motor. And so he's like, you're going to drive that tractor. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to try to beat you with the crap that we made with your hand-me-downs. And we're going to see how it works out. So that was the gist of that interview. I said, for every man out there that spends $6,000 on power tools and to get a job done instead of paying somebody $400 to do it and get it done, it may be bad logic, but sometimes it works out. So,
well, it was very organic. I didn't know if that was a fabricated or a real story. So,
it was real.
Everything was real, as I would expect from you, Tyler. No fabrication. No pun intended.
The only fabrication we have here is a pulling chassis, Chase.
I can't believe all three of us are drinking waters and Gatorades. What is this? No wonder they want diesel guys on here.
Maybe it's vodka. You just don't know it.
Ooh. Positivity check. Positivity check. Cool. Want to kind of change the subject here to a situation that happened in Evansville. We have fun and cut up and do a lot of, socializing and, bickering or whatever you want to call it on this podcast in person. But, someone has the potential to get hurt or something bad happens. Everything kind of is like a pause or a oh shit moment. And Saturday morning at Evansville, I got a call. There was an emergency on the grounds, and don't want to get in all the details of all this, but essentially, a crew person on a super farm team was standing behind their ramp door, getting ready to unload the vehicle, and a lot of these ramp doors are held by winches or cables of some sorts, and unfortunately, that winch cable broke and took the gentleman, the crew guy, to the ground in a very, very serious situation. Luckily, there was people on site there. Lord, thankfully, there was people on site there that got the door off of them. Had some of the staff from the event there quickly to call an ambulance, and they were all there within, a couple minutes. But all that being said, there was not a loss of life, but there very could have easily been. This individual had to left the grounds, went into surgery, was in critical care, but came out of it and he's on a long road to recovery, but definitely want to just take this moment, this podcast, to use this as a teaching point if we can. That whether if you're in a pit or doing some recreational, those doors, and we mess around with millions of dollars of equipment collectively, but sometimes we take some things for granted, myself included. And unfortunately, Tad, this individual, was just wrong place, wrong time. And those doors, when a winch cable breaks, it's pure force coming to the ground. So obviously nobody intended for that to happen, but all I ask and all we can say is everyone just try to always be careful. And if you see a door like that, or you see somebody standing behind a door, open it, maybe grab them and grab somebody and tell them, none of us are perfect and we all make mistakes, but that was a very, very scary deal that thankfully Tad and the crew there, he's going to make it out from, but wanted to just spread some light in that situation. And also we have there is a GoFundMe page for Tad that we'll put in the link there. Obviously he's got a long road to recovery, but I think he's spent a lot of time in Evansville. He's from Iowa. He has relocated back to Cedar Rapids. I think it was early as Monday this week. So he is in a rehab center working his way back, but wanted to take this platform and this opportunity just to mention the situation. If you're kind enough or have the willingness to, I'm sure he's going to be out of work for some time. Make a donation there on the link, or send a note or send something. The outpouring support I know has been awesome for him. So didn't want to derail the podcast with that, but thought it was the right thing to do. So.
Well, it's like you say, it's a teachable moment for sure. And I think there's been times my friends that hang out around me at polls probably thought my father was the biggest jerk on the planet, because when it comes time to lower that ramp, if somebody is even walking in the general direction, like they may go underneath of it, that guy will scream at the top of his lungs basically and be like, "Get away from that ramp." Like they're a dog that just did something wrong, and they're like, "Geez, what is that guy's problem?" And so when this situation happened, my dad was like, "See, this is why I always yell at everyone." He takes that pretty serious, and we've only had it once with our current trailer where, sure enough, we were bringing that ramp door up, and that thing broke, and man, it came down, and yeah, you would not want to be under there. So definitely just be cautious, watch out for the people around you for sure. And that's a bad deal. And we pray for a full recovery for him, no doubt. So,
and also the other thing I wanted to add, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like whenever if you're going ATVing or doing something or whatever you want to do, always try to have somebody around you. I think being by yourself and doing some stuff by yourself is good, but like had this been a situation where Tad had been by himself, obviously he wouldn't be here with us. So I know it's not always ideal circumstances, but it's good to keep people around when you're dealing with any type of heavy machinery or equipment or trailers or whatnot. Sorry to cut you off there, Adam.
It's all right. No big deal. I mean, obviously, if a 9,300-pound super farm is going up that door, it's made out of steel and it's probably pretty thick and pretty heavy. So, I've been around a couple times when those cables break, and it's never going to be good news. Just always steer people away from them whenever they're loading and unloading. I mean, similar thing with Johnny Payne. He's loading up the tractor, and he's behind the tractor, and it was kind of at an incline, and the tractor started rolling, rolled him over. So just be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, enough with that. Let's on the down part of Evansville. That was really the worst thing that came out of the weekend from my standpoint. But obviously, it was a very serious situation. There was a lot of shit wrecked on the track. We had a debut mini rod guy, and this story we were hoping to get him on the podcast, but he messaged me before going on. He's not going to be able to come on tonight, but on Saturday night, Doug McKee, I think he's been a super modified full drive puller, been around pulling, but made the decision to get into mini rod pulling. And, we joke around, but I truly do think the mini rod class is the most badass class in pulling. Not because they wreck or do crazy shit or anything like that happens, but this is a guy who's been pulling his whole life and went and made a purchase on a mini rod and shows up at Evansville and, night two. I don't know if we have the B-roll back there, but he didn't really roll her over. He nosed her over. Probably is more the word for it. Backstage, if you have that video. So jumping right into it, we've had a couple weeks of pulling going on. It's officially pulling season now, right? Like there's this weekend, I think there's events going on all over the place. No mini rod pulling, but like I said, I'll be in Minnesota running our light mod. But 2 weeks ago, Busch Light Nationals in Evansville was a awesome event that kind of kicked off the summer. Great crowd, great turnout.
Okay, so the audio got a little weird there as we were trying to play the video.
Oh, I know what she did. She was screen recording, and it was the audio.
Okay, so what happened there is you heard a snippet from the show from earlier as we were playing that mini rod video. So if you were confused because Chase was rambling out of context, I know typically you're used to that, but this one actually wasn't on him. So, yeah. I don't know if it's possible to watch that without that audio playing over us. It may not be. I guess, Backstage is saying, hang on. Adam, in your best summary, as we have some audio-only listeners, or maybe we can watch the video, how do you describe what happened during that pass there for that mini rod?
Well, I think it's a perfect storm. You got a new driver. A phenomenal track for a mini rod. And, obviously, guy not knowing his vehicle very well. When you kind of mix those things together, sometimes how you drive it has a lot to do with how it hooks up. He kind of got a little shaken up the night before. And sure, he was just trying to be a little bit better, but it's really hard to mini rod class when you go out there and you look, and some guys are getting on it off the line, and some guys are driving it easy off the line,
so
and you got to make a decision on how you're going to drive that thing.
Weeks of pulling going
and when you
on.
feel them hook up,
it's officially
you
pulling
think it's
season
time to
now.
go with the throttle. You really don't know what.
Yep.
Even myself, looked like he had the hitch down, but he got a lot of speed going, and it tends to climb the front end up pretty quick. And once they hit the wheelie bars, it kind of unloads the tires and slows down, and the sled's going to hit you. You get slack in the chain, and you're just along for the ride. It looked to me like the front tire blew out and it grabbed in the ground, and the sled just pushed him over.
So I'd asked him rolling off the track, and so the first thing, obviously he was a bit shaken, as any of us would be. My first words to him were, "Well, join the club. We've all had crazy ass wild rides like that. Maybe not to that effect, but like we've all been on a rough ride of some sorts. That's just inevitable whenever you're mini rod pulling. So, I share with him like, look, we've all done it. And as he was going on, and I spoke to him yesterday, he hasn't really had a lot of, he didn't have someone coaching him up on maybe some do's and don'ts. Not that you should, but like whenever I got my first mini rod, if I didn't have Adam and his dad telling me like 2 or 3 things to do, that would have been me too. And I'm not saying, anything can happen to anybody, but truly that's I couldn't imagine getting one of those things and then just going down the track without somebody being there to coach me up a little bit. Not saying that everyone needs to have that, but it's a slippery slope.
I feel like if you're new to the class, like if you ask questions, people will give you helpful answers. Not that he, needed any guidance or anything, but if if somebody is getting into it, they will steer you in the right direction, I feel like. But that being said, I've had passes very similar to that, where I came unhooked from the sled, and nosed into the track like that. Fortunately for me, mine came back over. It didn't, do the whole flip. But yeah, what do you guys think? Did the roll pan on the front do its job there, or not necessarily?
It's hard to tell. I mean, I still say with these things, I know it kept the front tires on it, but when it cocks the front wheel back, like you could see the spindle there is turned back, and it gives it a chance to dig into the ground. That's like the kiss of death almost. Like losing a front tire, blowing out a front tire, bending a spindle out like that. Like it's just, you know, at that point, you're just. I mean, I had a rough ride on Friday night. I kept the front tires on it and bent my spindles up really bad. I maybe the air ride saved it a little bit. Best thing I can tell you is when you know things are going to go bad like that, just cram on the brakes and try to take your hand off the throttle in the best way you can, and just hold on.
He told me he's already has plans. He's gonna fix this, put new rails under it, and come back pulling. That is in motion. He did confirm that. So, mad respect to him. I hope, obviously, when he comes back, it's a little better than this voyage. I'm sure it will be. And Tyler, as you said, I don't know Doug, I didn't know him at all before this. And I was like, look, just call one of us if you have a question. Like, I don't know where you're going to run this thing, but you need to just whatever you can do to get a few good laps in you, then you can start creeping up on it. But the other thing he mentioned, and he may not want me saying this, but sorry in advance. But he said that some people told him his wheelie bars they were too high. What's your all's thoughts on that?
I mean, there is a rule on how far they can be off the ground, I do believe. And I feel like it's a matter of opinion how high you want to run them. I run wheelie bars that are quite low, to be honest, and I know that there's times that hurts me, but I moved to that when I got sick of wrecking everything all the time. Because in my opinion, the higher you run that wheelie bar, the less of a chance you're going to hit your wheelie bars and get upset. However, once you do hit them, I feel the stakes are higher the higher the wheelie bars are in the air, because obviously what we're getting at is the higher the wheelie bars, the higher the front end can get before it hits those wheelie bars. And if you hit your wheelie bars hard, oftentimes it does get upset. So it's kind of a game of risk reward there. You run those wheelie bars high, it's less of a chance you're going to hit them and upset the tractor. However, once you get there, the stakes are higher because you chose to have your wheelie bars up there. So it is a system of kind of checks and balances there. But I don't know offhand what that rule is. I would normally have my rule book handy, but I'm in Bruce's shop instead of my standard setting. So
it's a good question there from Josh. I don't know if you can tell in the photos, but I asked the same question. From what I understand, where his magneto or where his kill was mounted, I guess it was a celluloid maybe in the front. Don't quote me on this, but something it was mounted somewhere it shouldn't have been. And whenever it rolled over, all that didn't work.
Well, I think it's fair to say that if a tractor rolls over and you take, your ignition components take a hit, there's the wires that go up to your ignition components that needs to be grounded out through your kill switch. Well, if that wire gets ripped off, that wire can no longer pass through.
It's just running
and ground things out. Is that a fair? Is that a fair summary, do you think, Adam? Do you follow
that? I think so. I mean, I think you'd have to look a little bit closer at the pictures and stuff and kind of make your own assumption. I'm not here to say, what happened or what didn't happen. It kind of looks to me like in some of the pictures I saw, it looked like it was supposed to do its job, but maybe hooked on the wrong spot or something, It just didn't exactly do the job that it was supposed to do, because they ran around and they pulled the kill switch and the thing shut off. So
That's an interesting tidbit. That's a good point. That
I
kind
would-
of disproves
I would-
the previous theory.
Yeah, I'm not going to accuse anybody of anything, but there is a chance that maybe it could have been hooked on a lot of the mini rod guys run two zip ties on the kill switches. I know these are supposed to be certain tensile strength zip ties and whatnot, but there's been a lot of times that they break prematurely. So a lot of guys have been doubling them up, and we always cut the tails off of. We always make sure the zip tie's perfectly tight, and we make sure to cut the tails off so there's nothing can be interference. If there was a loop in there, say by chance maybe the hook got put in a zip tie and not the actual kill switch ring, it could have broke the zip tie and then the kill switch still stayed engaged. This is something, since we're all about rules and everybody's always about finding rules to make for us to follow by. I have maybe my own little rule that I would think that maybe needs to go into effect. So let's say, for instance, that you have a 5/8 bolt that's in your hitch,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And they base bolts on their tensile strength and their shear strength. The shear strength is based on when that bolt is torqued and it's tight. Well, if you tighten up any of the hitch bolts in any of the vehicles,
You can't adjust.
you can't move the hitch. So that being said, the tensile strength of the bolt, obviously, or the shear strength of the bolt has been compromised. It's less. So I would like to say maybe the organization, if it's a standard 5/8 bolt, that if you have a bad ride, maybe the official comes over and says, "We want the bolt out of here. Here's a brand new bolt." And maybe that bolt isn't compromised because he did take a rough ride the first
I
night.
didn't realize
And
first night was a rough ride. You said that.
It was a rough ride the first night, and maybe it was. I'm not saying it was bent or fractured or anything like that, but there was some other issues regarding what happened there that I do or don't know if they want that out. What had happened? I think there was maybe some things overlooked, but
Yeah, tell us what they
I
were.
think it would be probably. Well, I don't care. I mean, obviously, it was the wrong bolt in the hitch.
Okay.
I personally believe I looked at the tractor before it ran, and I personally don't believe the hitch was secured good enough to the frame rails, and maybe that's a reason why the tractor wants to dart around a little bit. When you just got two hitch plates hanging off the rear end housing and nothing's really supporting it to anything else, it gives it a chance to move around. And so when the thing kind of got out of control and the hitch plates got bent all around and the bolt got ripped out of the plates, you could say that it was maybe design flaw in the hitch plates. You could say that the bolt wasn't the right diameter, or you could say that the bolt was compromised from the run before. So that's just my 2 cents on
So you saw
more or less
before he ran. You saw.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I just kind of walk around. I mean, I kind of walk around and I don't study people's stuff too much, but I've never seen the tractor before, so I was kind of looking around at it, and I was just kind of I was like, well, I wouldn't have built it that way, but that's everybody. That's the joy of our sport, right? Anybody can manufacture and build things as long as it passes the rules. That's their prerogative. And I was just noticing some things, and I was like, well, I wouldn't build it that way, but hey, it's a lightweight tractor. And I just kind of noticed that if you look at some of the pictures when the hitches, when after the fact, when the thing was all mangled up, and you look at the hitch plates and they're all bent around and everything, it kind of makes you wonder if it was maybe stabilized a little bit more, if maybe that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about. I know definitely when I ripped the hitch out of mine in North Carolina, I had a lot of hitch plates on that sucker too. And that's when I did shear that 1/2-inch bolt, and everybody can thank me that we now have to run 5/8 bolts. I do believe that guy purchased some components. I say that guy, Doug, we know his name.
I think he purchased some components, but he did mount that hitch in there himself, from what I have heard. So that is the downside of when you want to be a DIYer in the sport. It does come with kind of learning things the hard way, unfortunately. But I would trust, like all of us, Doug's going to learn from those mistakes, and I'll bet he'll have that puppy tied in there pretty doggone nice. That being said, Adam, are you saying you think we should have to torque and tighten our hitch bolts after we adjust?
No. I guess what I was getting at with that is, like, if you do have a bad ride, like he did the night before, like I did. I mean, it really made me think about it, and I'm probably going to do it myself just because I want the security of it. If you have a bad ride like that, I'm not against just going and taking the bolt out and putting a new one in it.
Yeah.
Throwing that bolt away.
Honestly, have you ever done that before?
Yes, I have.
Have you? Okay, you're smarter than me, because even when I have rolled mine over and wrecked it, I don't even think I took the bolt out. And maybe somewhere my dad is sitting cussing at a television saying, "Yeah, you idiot, that's because I took it out for you and replaced it." And it's one of those things where he's just guiding over me because I'm too ignorant to know better, which is quite bad.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you buy the nicest bolt on the planet, it's probably going to cost you $20, right?
Yeah.
Like for a nice 5/8 bolt, grade 8.
Oh yeah.
Caterpillar bolt, whatever you want to call it.
Even beyond, Adam, you rate. I mean, let's face it, mini rods are more sustained, more likely to go on rough rides than probably any vehicle pulling. It's probably not a bad idea for there to be some type of follow up when there's a rough ride. However you judge a rough ride, I guess, is on the eyes of the tech official. But like to go do a walkthrough and survey of the vehicle after that. I mean, seriously, because we go these pulls for 2 days. You get tech the first day. Unless something goes wrong, you should be good Saturday. But I guess having a rough ride or wrecking is something going wrong. So I think that's probably not a bad idea at all. I've never really thought of that. But
I mean, sometimes you just got to take things into your own hands. I did not do that between Friday and Saturday, and I took a rough ride. It bent up my wheelie bars, bent my front spindles. The front end came down, hit the ground. The sled hit me. I got banged around a little bit. But after I saw that, it just kind of rung in my head like, hey, maybe I need to go replace that bolt just because.
So moving forward, when they implement this post rough ride rule, they'll call it the Adam rule.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think it's actually a pretty good idea.
It can't hurt. It can't hurt.
And it can't hurt. I'm just saying, when you think about, like, I think about stuff in manufacturing, right? I manufacture stuff. Tyler manufactures stuff. Like, you know where weak points are and stuff like this, but everybody knows the shear strength of a bolt is based on when it's tight.
Yeah.
And none of those bolts are tight.
Sometimes things do just fail, and like even certain components on our machine, you can have hundreds of thousands of bolts that go through this cam follower that rides on a barrel cam or something, and sometimes stuff just breaks, and you look at it and you're like, how did that happen? And it's because of scenarios like that I don't even like riding on chairlifts. And I always tell people, I have seen too many things fail that never should fail in a real world scenario, that I don't want to trust my life on one pivot bolt on a chairlift that's going over a mountainous terrain like that. So anyway, I feel like if we're going to keep this show under 2 hours, which is Chase's goal, he's a bit of a princess tonight.
It's all about me. Don't forget what Adam said.
He needs his beauty sleep. Adam and I are used to him kind of just telling us how the way it is. So it was a bad weekend for Doug's at Evansville, because we've covered one Doug, but now we have a second Doug to talk about his Evansville experience. So we got to bring on our guest for the evening, Mr. Doug Theobald, the bolt out. And maybe somewhere my dad is sitting. Okay. We're watching some slow-mo footage here. There's Doug right there. He's sitting in front of the tractor. Doug, welcome to the show, sir. We've got your video playing. Can you walk us through what people are watching right here?
Big fire.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. That's a very good summary.
Yeah. Not really why I want to join you guys on this show at all, but I guess.
Well, we would have brought you on anyway, right?
Well, right. We have, right?
You have, right. It's just not really the reason I want to be back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it looked impressive, didn't it?
Oh, it looked very impressive.
Yeah.
So what happened there?
The number 5 rod on the left front engine decided to exit the party, and when it did that, it hung the intake valve open, fired back through the manifold, blew the front left blower off. Obviously, major fire comes out. That fire got inhaled by the back motor, lit all the fuel and air inside the hat on it, which then caused it to blow the blower off of it. And then that, all the fumes and fire and everything went up to the fuel tank and exploded the fuel tank.
It's really a perfect storm as far as worst case scenario on how that can go. And unfortunately, methanol is pretty hard to put out when you have that kind of volume going like that. So, I mean, that thing burned for a while. The engine damage usually is the worst part of, losing a motor. But in your case, it was probably everything around that affected things even more so. I mean, I've seen you guys thrash to kick a rod out. You guys are going to run the second day. I mean, you guys work about as hard as anyone. You guys really are a prime example, and I can always just tell my father to go hang out with you guys for a couple weekends, and he'll see real quick why we don't need any of this multi-engine mod nonsense. But, I mean, I commend you guys for your efforts. So it wasn't just the motors, right? Like, what all else happened after that?
Yeah, I mean, the fire pretty much toasted everything in the front, fuel lines, all the wiring. I mean, just everything was bad. So it's been a complete, pretty much rebuild of the front part of the tractor. So we were just finishing putting wires and stuff back on it here and making sure all that's good. And then hopefully by morning we can see if it's going to run.
So you guys have just been going nonstop. You guys are getting this thing fixed up, and you think, in theory, tomorrow night, this tractor could be hooking to a sled?
Friday night.
Well, I know, but in theory,
yeah,
tomorrow
in theory,
night.
yeah. I mean, unless we find something that we just have completely overlooked, yeah, I think it's close to ready to go to the track.
How many man hours do you think it took to take it from that point in the pictures we're looking at to where you're going to be at tomorrow at this time?
I have no idea. I mean, between that and planting 2,000 acres and trying to get side dress bars going and spraying, and I mean, it's taken a lot of people, probably not enough people, but a lot of people dedicated to get it back and going. And I don't know. I guess we're not smart enough to quit.
So when it comes down to a fire like that, like fuel lines, obviously, if you really start boiling things down, there's things that are on that tractor that you don't necessarily need to make a run. Like, I know you guys got a bunch of computer stuff on there and all that stuff, but like the main wiring for the tractors makes all the ignition go. Obviously, stuff's on fire, so coils got damaged, points boxes got damaged, fuel lines got damaged, spark plug wires got damaged. Plus, I mean, the fire extinguishers. I mean, nobody really understands. Like, they're dousing that thing with fire extinguishers. What did the inside of everything look like? I mean, look at the stuff. That, for anybody who don't know, fire extinguishers, they will eat aluminum or magnesium or whatever you spray it on.
Well, I mean, you can imagine that's how it looked on the outside. That's how it looked on the inside. It's I mean, I can sit here and talk about what should have been done or could have been done and things like that. But in the end, we got to have a better protocol on how things like this are handled and the speed that they're handled. Yeah. I mean, Grant was at the starting line and he was basically the first one on the scene with a fire extinguisher,
right?
Which, I mean, that Grant, he's pretty quick and he's pretty amped up to get, shit taken care of, but he probably shouldn't be the first guy there.
Right.
Agree.
Well, I mean, I saw you were staying on there because when they start dragging you backwards, right, the fuel tank's splitting and it's leaking fuel on the ground. Probably not a big enough split in it to get all the fuel out of the tank, but a big enough split that it's dumping out on the ground and then lighting, and then you're dragging it backwards, and you're having to stand on the tractor. You have to go over the dirt pile. And when you go over the front ends, kicking the front end around, you're standing on the tractor with your hands on the wheels. You really can't do anything. Like,
no. Yeah, I mean,
you're along for the ride.
I didn't really realize that the tank had split. Now, obviously, there's a lot of shit happens there really quick, and trying to gather in, what actually is going on. And then I noticed obviously major fire underneath. So I'm like, okay, well, I got to stay here. So when it goes backwards, it doesn't end up jackknifed and, tear up a bunch more stuff. But yeah, there's just a lot that's got to happen there pretty quick. And fortunately, like I said, Grant was there. And then I think Jeff Hurt came out there, which he appears out of nowhere at all times. I think
He's flying out of the sky.
Right. But, the flagman wasn't too far behind, and he's obviously trying to do his job. But we just got to have some better training and understanding of what needs to happen, because things like that are going to happen. The sport is what it is, and it's going to happen. We got to have people that's ready for those type of situations.
We talked about this in a podcast, guys. It was back in the fall.
Christensen's.
This is almost the exact same thing, right?
Same deal.
It kept burning.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It didn't register with me until just now. We had this same conversation, and it was the same outcome for two different teams. And obviously, nobody wanted to not stop the fire, but it's probably something that comes down to just having proper equipment and investing in extinguishers that knock them out like that. I don't know what they call, but I do know they have there's some high dollar stuff you can get. It's going to be effective, but again, we're all experts.
I think
those fire extinguishers are cheap in regards to, like, I told somebody, and I was like, you guys just don't understand what just happened. You could take a briefcase full of money and throw it on a fire, and it wouldn't burn up as fast as that thing just did. Like, you're sitting there watching it, and you're like, there's nothing you can do. Like, maybe there was something they could do with right training and the right procedures and the right fire extinguishers and all that stuff.
I'm not saying it's gonna save it. I'm just saying that
a few seconds time's a lot of time of that.
Right. I mean, there was going to be a lot of shit wrecked regardless. I mean, that's just what it was. But, there's just things that we need to have better in play. And Richie came and talked to me about it afterwards. And, I mean, he's all about getting, some kind of a safety vehicle set up so that it's ready to go take care of things like that when need be. Because
Chuck Knapp actually built. He had a suppression system that he put on his mod, and he also had one on the Jeep, because he had the same thing happen at Hutchinson, Minnesota, where the thing just kept burning, and they couldn't get it out. So he took the precautions himself. But Kai's down at the end of the track with the Jeep. He's got the stuff on the tractor, and you could only hope it never happened again, but you could only hope that it would take care of. You don't know until you get into that situation.
Exactly.
Modified tractors, I guess, are the most likely to, because there's just so much shit going on, and they're packing more fuel than anyone. So it's amplified when it gets to that point. So
the funny thing is like, if people really want to know, like, you can almost tell when a tractor detonates how much fuel's in the engines. If it detonates and there's no fire, then that usually means like a fuel pump took a shit, or something got lean and there wasn't enough fuel. When there's a detonation and there's fire, that means it was full of fuel, but it failed, and that's where it really becomes an issue.
That's right.
So to the second part to this, as we alluded to, you and your crew have been slaving, probably beyond that in terms of a word choice, but this thing's back together, ready to go. If all goes well, you'll be running in the modified class this weekend.
That's the plan as of now. Yeah.
You seem really excited. I can see the excitement in your eyes. I'm kidding.
Yeah. The excitement needs to come back, but it'll be good. We'll be fine.
On a separate note, this is also a debut of a new rule structure for NTPA Modify where your tractor with 3 C screw blowers can compete in that class now. Competing primarily against 4 871 combinations. But what's your thoughts on that outlook? I think everyone's going to be really curious to see how that plays out. The argument that a guy has right now is, Jeff Hurt has a modified tractor that went up to that was in Evansville was pretty stellar in unlimited competition. So,
with 4.8 and 45 over.
Yeah. So, what's your outlook on this new mod class? Are you making a bunch of changes besides weight, or are you just trying to get to the show?
At the moment, trying to get to the show. I mean, we've got, since they announced the rule change, we've had theories on how we're going to do this, and we'll see how all that plays out. But, until we go hit the track, nobody knows what's going to happen. We just, we can all speculate, but hopefully Friday night we can figure out what's actually going to be the case.
Yeah.
So there for a while, it seemed like the 4-engine tractor, that was the rule package to be running in the mod class. We've watched how, people like yourself and the Bullingers have handled, 4 and 5 engine tractors with 14s with 3 screws. It can be done. Do you feel like a year from now, people are going to say 3 screws is the rule package to be running in that mod class, or do you think it's going to be even up? How do you think that parity is going to play out?
Well, like I just said, until we go run it, I don't know that anybody can say for sure what's going to happen. We can sit here and talk numbers and talk, horsepower and what's going to take place on the track, but I mean, we got to go prove it, right? So let's go run up there and maybe then we can talk about it afterwards.
Is there an overdrive limit on the 3 screws in the mod class?
Yeah, I think it's 94%.
Is that where it's 120 and unlimited, right?
125.
125.
Yeah, 125. Yeah.
So a little bit of adjustment. It will be very interesting to see. Is the plan to kind of campaign both mod and unlimited, Doug? Or I guess at this point you just want to get a few hits in? I'm sorry to ask you a question like that after this.
I mean, that's our intention at the moment. So, but after the past couple of weeks, there's been a lot of questioning as to what our grand plan is going to be. So, hopefully we haven't missed something, and everything's back like it should be, and we can go up and make a couple passes and learn something and figure out, how we're going to do things going forward.
Very good. Very good. Well, it's we always talk about the madness of pulling, but seeing resilient teams like you all, and as Tyler said, just bringing Bruce around to keep him away from multi-engine modifieds, the work ethic and the passion that goes into making these things go. I know you'd like to be on this podcast in other terms, but
right.
See people rally together and get back to the track. That's pretty cool stuff.
Well, it's been a tremendous amount of work, but it's also our passion. It's what we want to go do. So, things like this happen. We just figure out how to make it back.
I respect the shit out of it. I don't think I've seen anybody work as hard as you guys have in the last couple of years. Some people tear up a motor or something. For you guys, it's just almost like it's just routine maintenance. You're right in there. You're doing the thing. It's not even a question. Are you guys going to get it put? And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean, like, you guys.
Dude, what an asshole, Doug.
No, I'm
sorry. Just kick him in while he's down.
No. What I'm getting at by that is, like, there's some camps where, like, you kind of float around and it's like, are you guys going to get it back together? Do you need anything? And what I'm getting at by that is it's like, without a shadow of a doubt, that thing's going to be there. You're going to get it running. You guys know what you're doing. You kind of know what I mean? Like, some people tear up a motor and it's, oh man, like, what's going on over there? Just watching you guys work, it seems like everybody falls into place and it's just, you guys know what the hell you're doing. And like I said, I respect the shit out of it. I'm not mad enough to put in that much work. That's obvious. So I got nothing but respect for that. For sure.
Well, I appreciate that, and I mean, we work well together. There's times that people get tensions high and things go, a little bit awry, but in the end, we know what everybody needs to do, and we just we make it happen.
Yeah, I think I was sitting at the starting line, and Renee's sitting there. She goes, "I told Doug, there goes our damn 4-engine chassis right there."
Oh,
Yeah,
because there's no joy. I mean, you guys are probably. I mean, yeah, you're doing really good in the unlimited class with the 3, and you're sneaking in there. Had a really good running, really good with it in the unlimited, and I'm sure you're probably. Hey, we're going to give this another try. With the full year of knowing what we know now to be
Right.
in the hunt. And I think it was paying off, just a little unfortunate circumstance there,
Yeah.
It's pretty, trust me, nobody wants to see anything tore up. I was standing way back by the tractors and I heard the engine detonate. I'm like, oh shit, and they're like, then you look over and it's like, it's still burning. Like, oh shit, like, you just hate to see that happen to anybody, especially the first pull of the year, right? It's not in that you got going this year, so
Yeah.
that's disheartening. But I'm glad you guys have perseverance and you guys work together. Stuff's been running really good, and I'm sure it'll get right back to it.
Yeah, we'll be good. It's just a stumbling block. Hopefully hopefully the worst is at the start of the year and we can move on from here.
Now, how would you assess the Busch Light Nationals? I thought there was a lot of carnage. I know you were part of that, but you would have thought we were running for Bowling Green Ring or something there. I mean, guys were really putting her on the line.
I don't know. Does it really matter anymore where it is?
Yeah, right.
Like 10,000 to win or freaking $1 to win. It's just
right. Yeah. It's just you don't know any different. You go there to win, whatever it is. So
yeah.
But
would you say that the track worked good for the mods? I mean, it's hard to tell. I know you're only on a half a run there, but did it seem like it was going to go?
The night you were running too, the sled was set up very tight too.
It was.
Which probably didn't help anything, but
yeah, I mean, it was probably a touch on the dry side for the mods to, to really work well, but not really anything we hadn't dealt with before. So,
right. It wasn't Rockwell a couple years ago.
Yeah, no,
but that picture will always last. Grant getting out of the tractor and he throwing his hands up, and you barely can move the damn sled. It's so hard.
Oh, that gets talked about quite a bit around here.
that Teca fish that walked up on him and like he was just in the wrong place, wrong time, and like he was just like
he took the wrath, didn't he?
Yeah.
Come on.
Somebody's
but back to the Busch Light Nationals, great event. I mean, you guys did well. Chase and all your people did a fantastic job. It was for the first time, very impressive.
Yeah,
close to home, Doug. Close to home.
Right. Yeah.
The competitors, obviously, I said this at the drivers' meeting. Like, you can anybody can have all the ambition and spend all the money or get every sponsor in the world, but if competitors, the best competitors don't show up, if the best track builders don't show up, if the best sleds don't show up, you got a really shitty show. So the credits to all the above there from my standpoint, but appreciate the kind words.
No, it was good. Very good.
How long a drive is it to Hutch for you, Doug?
Oh, it'll take probably 12 hours is my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a curfew tonight, Doug. I told him we got to stop this at the 2 hour point because we got one vehicle going, so that means that not a lot of team members going for me. So long drive tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna be short team member too. Mason's going to stay home and spray corn. So,
how often do you get to take the mod by itself?
A couple times a year, I guess.
It'd be like a breath of fresh air, right?
I don't know.
You don't have to grind no mini rod tires.
That's true. That is true.
Question for Doug. So what happened?
Oh, yes.
What are we missing here?
That would be just a joke between Lindsay and I. So that's, I appreciate that, Lindsay.
Well, Doug, we won't appreciate you joining us, especially amidst of all the work and the rebuild. And pretty cool to any fan that hears these stories. It's an unfortunate situation, but teams need to be celebrated for their efforts. So thank you for hopping on, and thank you even more for not letting Mason or Grant join. That really helped things. I saw Renee in the background, so she was kind of there, but keeping those two away was very helpful.
Sure.
So
yeah. No, thanks for having me on, checking in.
Yeah, safe travel. I'm sure everybody will be keeping up to see this thing get back up front this weekend. So
I'm going to be rooting for you.
Yeah, for sure. How could you not? Even especially if you kicked him while he's down, too, by the way.
No shit.
Doug knows I didn't mean that. He knows what I meant.
Oh, yeah.
I know, buddy. It's all good.
Thanks, Doug.
Yep.
Right.
See you in a couple of days. Yep.
See you.
And I give him credit for giving us his time to come on here and entertain us, because I'm here to tell you, if my father and I were in a thrash trying to fix stuff to get it ready to go to a poll, and somebody reached out to him and was like, hey, we want to talk about everything burning, Bruce would be like, over my dead body, am I going to stop getting stuff ready to sit there and yuck it up with you?
It happened 2 weeks ago. I'm sure it's how long are we going to keep dragging this stuff up, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to, of course, I was on the track there too, whenever, like, wearing the promoter hat, I guess, we're trying to help them get it out, like the fire diffuse. But I'm here going back to our trailer afterwards, and I told those guys, I'm like, they might not pull the rest of the year. That thing is fucked. I'm like, I really was like, if that was me or us, I'm not sure we'd be back out. So again, saying it again, it's pretty cool. Like, that's major. Whoever made the analogy about the burning $100 bills, Adam, that's pretty it's pretty spot on with it. So
the ignition system is one thing. Like, that's sort of complex, but once you understand it, there's not a ton going on there. But once you mix in like a data logger, like what they run,
or
like,
three. Because each engine, I'm sure, has stuff on it, right?
Like,
those
you look at
mods are freaking expensive.
Well, yeah, you look at our tractors and they just look like a mess of wires. Like, I hate it, but like, I love the data. I obsess over it. I gotta have it. Like, that's almost another big factor of, like, to try to do that for 3 different motors and monitor all of those vitals, and actually, like, you go look at their tractor and like, it's all ran neat and tidy and clean. I'm like, I can't even tidy up the wire harness for a single engine tractor with a race pack. You think I'm going to do that with a 3 or a 4 or a 5 engine tractor? Not a effing chance. That thing would look like a freaking pot of spaghetti of wires. It'd be terrible. So hats off to them for thrashing through it.
It's one thing to lift a blower, and the blower restraints do their job. I mean, obviously the burst panels are supposed to take handle, but the blower lifted, it stretches all the intake port lines if they're not long enough, right? If the straps are longer than the intake port lines, then your intake port lines get stress on them. Your nozzles get stress on them. The nozzle bodies get stress on them. Then you mix in the fire, you're burning spark plug wires, you're burning fuel lines, you're burning all that other stuff. It's like, man, it's a total rebuild.
Well, it's just like this is a common sense, like, no shit, dumbass statement, but like a small fire in a house can burn the whole damn freaking house down. Like, it's the same thing on wheels, especially if you can't get the thing diffused. So, on that screw blower, that's going to be interesting to watch. Everyone has different opinions on it, just like everything. But, I know that I think there's 6 or 7 mods up there, so you don't have the full field, I guess, of what you may see at a Bowling Green or somewhere. But it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
I think one thing for sure is we're going to see, and I feel like we've already kind of seen this, but 3 motors with 14s is no longer going to be a combination that is going to be super competitive that you'll see people running in that class. I would
Yeah.
predict that. Because if you can run 18s or screw blowers, nobody's going to sit here and debate and be like, actually, a 14 is a better option compared to an 18 or a screw, right?
You know, the argument with
the only thing I would say to this, let's say the screw blowers are a better scenario. I think the prices maybe came down just a skosh, but you're looking at $150,000 to buy those blowers and injector hats to put screw blowers on an engine. 1871s, they're hardly used in anything. And there are a few of them out there, yes, but it's a little bit more specialized of a blower that's not really allowed in anything else besides unlimited. Who's really going to jump out there and buy those to put them on the tractor? Obviously, probably we all know that 4 engines with 8s is stronger by, I don't know, 1,000 horsepower, probably more than 3 with 14s. But it's just going to be very interesting to see if the overdrive limits on the screw blowers are right, and if the 18s, what they're going to do, and is the 4-engine deal still going to work? Then you still have to put it down on the track.
Yeah,
right?
And along with that, I'll add to that, Adam. I'm not taking anything away from anyone, but I think people would agree that in the unlimited class, 3 screws has been more successful than 4, as of late. But, who's to say with 500 pounds knocked off those guys? I think the 3 screws work better because they're able to control a little more, with the weight to the tire ratio. I don't know if 500 pounds would change anything. My gut says it's not going to change anything, but I don't know. There's a bit. Who would have? I remember whenever Adam, you and Bob Miner helped Steve get that first one out with 3 screws, and it went to the front immediately. Everyone's like, "Holy shit! What? We should have been doing that a long time ago."
Yeah, the funny thing about that is when we were running that tractor, the blowers weren't at 125 over. They weren't at 120 over. They were at 115. So they weren't even hopped up the extra 10% to get them up there to the 125 over. So I think Steve probably is going to have. I hope he does. Has a pretty good idea where to start out with the thing. The biggest difference will be the weight, right?
Yeah,
but for anybody that doesn't know, a screw blower is lighter than a 1471.
Yeah, that's one of those mythical things people wouldn't realize
Well,
until you weigh them.
Yeah, they look larger, but it's got to just be the way they're constructed with those.
I'm really curious to see the future of the mod class, depending on how this plays out. Obviously, there's seems like to be a stellar class of mods that are running in the high stakes. But man, like if you're coming off the streets, and I'm not faulting anybody for doing any of this, like it's all a sacrifice commitment, but like you can build a badass upfront 4-engine mod, 871 mod for the same price you can build a 4-engine 1471 unlimited. So like I don't know why you wouldn't build an unlimited, but like that's just my opinion. Maybe people have their reasoning, but it hasn't been like that for a long time, and I'm just really curious to see how that class plays out the next couple of years because the light mod class is getting super popular. It seems to be, and it's been exciting. So yeah, it'd be fun to watch.
I guess we have 6 minutes on Chase's clock. So, hey, Chase, are you going to take that Grand National Light Modified and go run any regional modified hooks and claim points?
Oh, hot topic. 6 minutes on the clock. Chase, take away.
I don't think that's going to happen, guys. I don't. That's not going to probably happen at all. I think
you're not going to take it to Arcola or something. And
okay,
man, I love pulling a lot, but I think I'm pretty well maxed out right now on going to events. But
Adam, for those not in the know, can you briefly describe what people are upset about?
Well, I don't know that they are or aren't upset. I think I've seen some responses. I've gotten some phone calls, but according to new rules that now it always used to be that whatever license you held is where you ran and claimed points. Now, if you're running a Grand National license, you can now go to a regional pool and get regional points. But you cannot, as a regional puller with a regional license, go to a Grand National pool and claim points. The only way it works is if you have a higher level of license to go to lesser events and you can claim points.
So what are they trying to
a Grand
achieve?
National license is a premium license now because it costs more, right? That's probably the way to say it.
Well, I mean, I guess if you were to look into the situation, I don't know what's the difference between a Grand National and a regional national license.
I think I want to say it's $400 or $500.
So is this,
don't quote me on that, but there is a price difference.
is this incentivizing region pullers to purchase a Grand National license, knowing that they can do both? Or do you think the incentive is to try to get Grand National competitors to show up at region events? Because giving those Grand National guys region points, what would be a driving incentive for a Grand National guy to do that? What is the point other than maybe qualifying for an Inderly at a regional level with a Grand National tractor that, and I say Inderly, which is now is it the Mitas All-Star pull? Or?
The All-Star, Mitas All-Star, yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
what is
All-Star
the incentive?
Indy,
What's the train of thought? Like,
I think from what I've gathered from it was they're doing it to help support some promoters at regional national events that, call it what it is with like a two-wheel drive class. You go to a Grand National two-wheel drive class, there's 30 to 40. The regional national two-wheel drive class, I think they struggle to get 10 a lot of times. So maybe it's a way to make it a path easier to get guys to regional events would be my guess. Or
knowing what you know, it would be awfully hard to get a regional pulls and Grand National pulls on the same weekend. Correct?
No, I'm just saying, really like in the state of Ohio specifically, I think that probably is where it maybe touches. But I honestly don't know a ton about it other than it is a change. And when there's change, people's asses get lit on fire sometimes. And
so I guess what we're saying is that this is the perfect opportunity to call that No Practice Podcast fan hotline. And I think this would be a good segment that we cover on the next show because I have been reached out by a couple of people, regional competitors that, they're asking questions too. But you call that number 270-681-0509. Leave a voicemail, leave a message, leave your concerns. If you're a mad regional puller and you want to voice your opinion on what you think this is doing for that, let us know. If you're a promoter that is looking into trying to pump life into classes that maybe the numbers are a little bit low, let us know what your reasoning is behind that stuff. Because I think this is a topic that should be covered for a decent amount of time on this podcast, so everybody's in the know or can get their opinion out, and we can maybe find common ground that maybe not everybody agrees on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Adam, you're very diplomatic when you want to be. That was very well said, my friend.
I mean, let's face it. It just came out. There's always the mad rush of people that get pissed, and they're up in arms about it. And why didn't you make this rule earlier? And why is it doing it just now? Will they change it? I know there's a lot of times that a rule gets introduced and then they get so much flack they end up changing it. But let's honestly hear from the pullers what you honestly feel. You get on here, we'll cover it. We're not going to not read your messages. If you leave us a message and you want to get out and you want to bash whoever, or if you think it's a great idea and you have reasoning to say it, let's hear it. Because let's face it, people make a post on Facebook. It's either going to be trash, or it's going to be positivity. Talk about it. Instead of keyboard warrior, everybody knows what the best thing is for pulling. Let's talk about it.
I was also notified. I didn't. I was not aware of this, but NTPA did a podcast last night. Jason texted me. Jason Schultz, him and Rich Schaefer, I guess are going to do one weekly. This is no Ron Burgundy repeat. I shouldn't say that, but
you just did.
They did one last night. They said they covered all this, so maybe someone can go watch that. I didn't watch that.
I did listen.
Yeah, but they're covering it from an organizational standpoint. This podcast is based off the pullers' opinions and reactions, so they can explain what their side of it is. I want the pullers to explain what their side of it is, and then maybe there we can meet on some common ground, or at least get some understanding about how people feel.
I like it.
Fair enough.
All right.
What y'all got going? So y'all have a no pulling this week, and y'all are back at next week. Is that right?
Yeah, we're heading to Farley, Iowa for the second stop of the Fent High Stakes Series. And we're going to be running for larger prize money Friday, is my understanding, because some of that entry fee dollars from the second session that got rained out will be rolled into the first session there at Friday. So I don't know.
And the cool thing about, I think, what they're doing here is they're not top loading the purse. We all got money for the rain out, which they took that out of the purse, and then they're taking that amount of money and they're dividing it up through the class. So across the board, it's not going to be the top part of it gets all the money. They're spreading it out throughout the whole class. So the entire purse across the entire thing is going to be raised.
RJ, 15-5, I assume that's to win. So I'm sure that was, there's your answer.
15-5. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure I won't get so lucky again at Farley. I'll probably be dead last. As soon as you think you have the sport figured out, man, it'll humble you in a damn hurry. And
well, look at RJ Simon. He takes the semi out there and 2 wins, $20,000.
Not bad.
Not a bad weekend.
Not a bad weekend. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Guys really got some. It's really interesting how how this is all going to play out over the next, what would be 8 events or 8 pulls.
It'll be exciting for sure. And hopefully there's no track drama, but if there is, and anybody needs a good track builder, I did get a picture sent to me that I passed along to backstage. I know Chase has got to go, so we'll keep this brief, but professional pulling track builder. I don't know who made that. That's silly. We all love Marty. At least I love Marty. I like a good discussion.
I love Marty to death. I really do. I was not attacking Marty.
I don't think there's anything wrong with him saying what he said either.
Not at all. I mean, he's going to bat for guys in the class that, they sucked in a lot of dirt. The turbines, I mean, shit, you looked at the turbines, they're blowing dirt up in the air. Those things, any engine's worst enemy. Like, I don't think anybody wants to see that happen to anybody. And yes, it needs to be better. I don't think anybody on the grounds knew that, hey, we're just doing this on purpose. It needs to be better, and it will be corrected.
Since you did all your reporting to come back to me on how to qualify for this circuit, you're gonna go do some more reporting on what went wrong with the two-wheel drive, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'll ask them. Well, I know for sure.
Better yet, just get them to take the invitation and come talk to us. I don't understand why they don't come on here.
Well, yeah, I don't know, Chase.
Just come talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I want to see you run your Mini on the Champions Tour and qualify for it, Chase.
Well, fuck. The way I run a Mini rod, I won't get in that damn thing either.
Well,
You had a good run at Evansville. What'd you end up at Evansville?
I'll find something else to bitch about. I actually made one of the better runs I've had in a while on it. But
see,
yeah, I think I helped him get there. I had to give him a blower pulley to get her going. I did find one over here.
I don't have a transmission in that. Remember, I have a reverser, so my gear ratio is blower pulleys. There's not an overdrive limit, is there? Oops.
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah. So, no. Good stuff, guys.
Remember, call that hotline because
in 2 weeks will be Toma week. Tyler, Adam, I'm sure your to be determines on Toma, but remember the last time 2 years ago we had the debut of the on-site podcast. We got to relive that one of these days, but maybe whenever the stars align, we'll make it happen.
Hey, is there going to be anything on full pull bets on the over or under the amount of sessions that get rain at Toma?
Well, let's just hope that two-wheel drives can run this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
God, that's a blast from the past. Remember the freaking two-wheel drive start to last year? Holy shit.
jeez.
No two-wheel drive pullers allowed.
Yeah, forgot about that.
This is what's fun about this podcast. We all how many times throughout a show we've referenced 12 different episodes of funny shit that's happened. So it's all good stuff. So the water version of the podcast has come to a close. Look forward to us getting back to our roots maybe in a couple of weeks. Again, it'll be Toma week. All kinds of pulling going on this weekend. I think there's 6 or 7 different streams you can watch on Full Pull Live. Adam and Tyler will be pulling next weekend. You can watch that one for free on the YouTube, I believe. So in the meantime, text
and you're going to Seymour, Wisconsin, right?
Yes, Macville, Seymour. First time I've ever been there. Actually, always good to go different places. I have a lot.
Are you staying up there? Or are you driving home?
Good memories in Farley. I've been to Farley more than you all have. So I'm gonna be. It'll be different this time because I went one year when they didn't have 2 minis. I took a 2-wheel drive.
All right.
But no, I'm going to. We're going to Macville. Really looking forward to that pull. Apparently, it's a huge crowd, super packed. So that'll be.
Are you coming home or are you staying up?
I'm going to Hutch this weekend, and if we don't blow anything up, I'm gonna hopefully leave the small hauler there around Toma, fly home, and then go back up to Macville, Seymour next weekend, and then stay on the road through Toma is the plan. So should be fun.
All righty, that's a wrap. I can't wait to watch Theobald's win this weekend. It's happening.
I'm predicting a screw blower domination this weekend, but we'll see. Brett Berg's pretty damn good. Ricky Rose is good. It'll be fun to watch. So
Christensen's won on that track last year. Look out.
Yeah. Dude, just think about it. There's 2 tractors returning that melted themselves down from the previous run. Not to talk about bad memories, but I think something should and maybe will be done where maybe they can get some fires out quicker. I'm not the guy to tell you how to do it though. So if nothing else, maybe that's a good thing to come. So all right, everyone. All right. Safe travels. Good to see y'all. See you in a couple weeks.
See you, boys.
Cheers.
That's a wrap.
Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the No Practice Podcast.
Have a good one. Bye.
Stay tuned for the next episode where we guarantee there's